How you doing? Neil Steele here for Neil Steele's Reviews, and today we're doing a film review. The film review is Pitch Black, starring Vin Diesel. I am Groot. It definitely established him as an action star. Believe it or not, the movie's 26 years old now. 2000 is when this film came out. Written and directed by David Twohy, who's done some pretty good films besides doing the RIDDICK franchise. He's also done some other films. One of the best being a submarine movie called Below. If you haven't seen that, exceptionally great ensemble cast. And a submarine movie that's up there with any of the other submarine movies like Hunt for the Red October, Das Boot, Crimson Tide, U-571, and other submarine movies that you may like. Yeah, so it's definitely worth checking out. Below is the name of the movie by David Twohy. It's really worth checking out. It's a great film. And it's different to all the others too. It's got a sort of thriller type flavour about it. So yeah, getting back to Pitch Black, which is, look, it's a great sci-fi film, filmed in Australia at a place called Cooper Pedy, which is a small rural town in South Australia. So if you Google Australia, and you'll see where South Australia is, and Cooper Pedy. And yeah, it was filmed out there. The little spaceship that's at the end of the movie that they escape the planet from is actually still there on a property in South Australia and for sale. So if there's anyone out there who wants to buy the spaceship, yeah, check it out. Look, there's David Twohy, for those, some people wouldn't know, but he did a screenplay or story for Alien 3, which is about 8 years before this film, as in Pitch Black. So I'm guessing, because the scenario is similar, spaceship crashes, aliens on a planet that you land on. So there's probably a bit of that Alien 3 unused screenplay was adapted to make Pitch Black, and it works, right? Vin Diesel is a good anti-hero. There's no two ways about it. He doesn't do much in the film, but what he does is enough to create a really good character, so much so that they've done 3 films, and I believe the 4th film in the franchise, we'll hear about it, I'd imagine, in the next 6 to 12 months, because supposedly they've been filming it, because he's been doing, obviously he's done lots of Fast and Furious films back-to-back sort of thing. So I think the Riddick thing was something that he's done, as in a new movie. So look forward to it, because I enjoy all 3 films. But the first one is pretty good as a starting point for the franchise. They only had a $23 million budget. And look, even I watched it a couple of days ago, obviously, so I can give it a review. I haven't watched it for a while. Yeah, it still stands up, looks really good. The creatures are great because they're not like anything we've seen in other sci-fi films. They're quite mean and menacing in their own way, and they're quite a cool-looking creature. I've got to give it to them. Besides Vin Diesel and the other people involved, we've got Radha Mitchell, and she's done quite a few films over her time as well. The other one that pops into my head that was Rogue, about the big crocodile that was filmed in Australia, and had Sam Worthington was in it as well, if I remember correctly. So she was in that. She's great as the 2IC of the spaceship that crashes onto the planet. Cole Hauser is the bounty hunter dude. He's great in his role. He's always good as well. He's been in heaps of movies over his time as well, but he was great as the bounty hunter in Pitch Black. A couple other films that he's been in that were pretty good. The one about, I'm just trying to think of the name of it, The Cave, I think it was. Sci-fi movie set in Europe somewhere, where they all go down cave diving and come across these creatures. Again, that wasn't bad. And it was in, I think, the last thing I saw him in was Die Hard 5, the one they did in Russia. So he's been around for a while. And of course, we've got, excuse me, we have Keith David, who, of course, is probably best known, I suppose, because of 1982 John Carpenter film The Thing. And he's also been in other films. He's been in heaps of films over the years. They Live is another good one. He was in Marked for Death with Steven Seagal and countless other films in his career. And he's great as well. So we've got those. And, of course, we've got to throw in Claudia Black. Of course, she was in Stargate and also Farscape. So you've got some pretty cool actors that have been in other things, and they work. The film works. It's a great film. It really is a good film. I'd give it 8 out of 10. I think it still stands up to this day. And it's funny because the Riddick franchise, while it mightn't be a money-making, colossal company like franchises like Star Trek or Star Wars, which of course are monumentally, make billions of dollars. I mean, the Alien franchise doesn't make billions of dollars either, or Predator, or any of those. And it's funny because most of the franchises, the ones we just spoke about, or others, you get that 1 or 2 hit movies, and then, of course, Hollywood being the way they are, they're going to make money, and they're going to keep putting out sequels. And in most cases, there's very few franchises that actually put out consistently good product. They all seem to start off okay, and then it gets worse and worse. Jaws being one that you could definitely say went down the shit tubes as each movie went. Same as RoboCop, Starship Troopers, and some of the Star Wars stuff of recent times hasn't been exactly killer, and neither has Star Trek. So Riddick as a franchise has it over most of these franchises that have got worse, because the 3 Riddick films are equally as good as each other. Pitch Black is great. My personal favourite out of the 3 is this one. Is the second film, The Chronicles of Riddick, where everything is upped. It's a bigger budget, bigger look. Again, another great ensemble cast. Is where we get to see Carl Urban as Vakor. And it's a great, and the story arc with Riddick is really good because it takes up where the first film left off. And, of course, the most recent one was around about a decade ago was the third film, just simply titled Riddick. Again, another fantastic cast. I mean, you've got Katie Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica, among other things that she's done. You've got David Bautista, who's done heaps of stuff. Obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy. He was a villain in one of the Bond movies where he was excellent. And we have, I think he's a Spanish actor, Jordo, who was the villain in Bad Boys 2. He was awesome as in that film. I'm just going to look at his name here because I want to get it right. Where are we? He was really good in his part too. I mean, it's a great cast. It really is a good cast. There's no two ways about it. And that's been the beauty of all 3 films. They've had really good casts, and of course the Riddick one, Geordie Moller, that's the man. He's great as Satana. I'll put your head in a box in the third film. And, of course, it's got Australia's Matt Noble, who was successful and popular in Australia because of some TV series as well. So, again, a great film. I like all 3 films. The third one's a little bit like Pitch Black, where it's just, a planet and stuff, and there's alien. But, look, it works as a film. Great cast. Pitch Black, I'd give this one to me is 8 out of 10. The others, I'd give Chronicles. I'd probably give it 10. I really like Chronicles. I think it's a great film. And the most recent one, Riddick, I'd give 9. So, I'm looking forward to number 4, which is Riddick Furia, and they've been filming supposedly, so I'd imagine we should get that the next 6 to 12 months. Fingers crossed. I'm really hanging to see it. Pitch Black, great film. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. If you've watched it but haven't watched it for years, rewatch it and you'll really enjoy it again because, it's a great action sci-fi film, and it's like no others, to be honest. So yeah, they've got their own thing happening, and David Twohy and Vin Diesel have worked together well, and there's obviously a chemistry there, and it just works. Cheers, catch you next time. See ya.